Welcome back in the pursuit of wealth, Curaleaf traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news and interviews. Today's Thursday, August 21st. Hope you're doing fantastic. And in this video, we got an exciting update. We're going to take a look at Curaleaf, specifically on the TSX, and is it eyeing $8.71 Canadian as the next target? We're going to be taking a look at the bullish continuation pattern, massive bullish pattern that is forming on the chart, and we've seen a huge recovery on this stock. And full disclosure, I do own it. It's my second largest holding, and as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the price action and what to expect in terms of that in the days, weeks, months ahead. But you can smash the like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And don't forget to follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So before we jump into the analysis here in this major bull flag, and I'll go over my additional thoughts as well with pertaining, to the technicals. I don't know of any other company in the US that I'm even remotely bullish on. And I'm curious to hear in the comments. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Green Thumb, you're going to say Trueleaf, but honestly, I don't think any of them have anything close to what Curaleaf is capable of long term. My number one holding is Tilray, followed by Curaleaf, and I've often said that if I had one wish in the industry, well, it would be for the U.S. to legalize it federally. But if I had a second wish, it would be a merger between Tilray and Curaleaf, and their businesses are very similar. U.S. in terms of Curaleaf U.S., it has the biggest footprint in the U.S., and they also have one of the biggest international footprints, and they're the biggest by revenue, right? But if you take a look at Curaleaf under the hood, it operates in the U.S. It has the biggest footprint in the U.S. out of any MSO, any operator in the U.S. It's also a Canadian operator. It acquired Northern Green Canada, and it has a very large presence in Europe and international markets as well. And I remember Boris Jordan saying that if other companies were to replicate what Curaleaf did, they spent about $400 million on the expansion in international markets. Okay, so that's basically what Trueleaf has on their balance sheet in terms of cash. So these companies are going to be in a whole world of hurt when they start to expand, and a lot of them only operate in 10 to 20 states. They're not even across the US, so that's going to take massive amounts of cash injection, capex, or they're going to have to acquire companies and potentially dilute. But in my opinion, there's not even a close third compared to Tilray and Curaleaf, in my opinion. And they're very, very similar businesses, and would absolutely love one day for them to combine forces, and probably wouldn't happen until after the US legalizes, but that would be more than likely the blue chip phase. But I think that they have great synergies. They operate in a lot of the same markets, and they have a lot of the same kind of products as well. But again, it's hard to be bullish on any other company in the US other than Curaleaf. I don't see the value there, and what Curaleaf is building is for 10, 20 years out, and they're so much further ahead than their peers in the US. But we'll take a look at the chart here on the two-day time frame. You can see we have a massive bull flag that's forming. If you go from the low to the high here, anything over 268 on the TSX, and Curaleaf's only one of the only ones listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. TerraSem was the first, and then Curaleaf was the second. If you take a look here on the two-day time frame, 268 is must-hold support. So we started daily consolidation yesterday, closing at the high of the day today. It's looking good, and this break is looking like it could come at some point between now and the first week of September. And guess what aligns perfectly with that? Well, we were told a couple of weeks ago that it was going to be rescheduling decision would be determined in the next few weeks. Well, it's been almost 2 weeks, and if we look a week out beyond that, that aligns right after Labor Day, so that same week. And if you take your measured move here from the low to the high, and then move it out to your 0.382 fib, you've got a measured move of $8.71 Canadian as the potential target. So from the close of today to that target, you're looking at about 117% of upside. We also have a golden cross that just occurred on the daily time frame, and on the weekly time frame, we're bumping our head right at the 100 weekly. But if we can get over that, we've got some runway till 559. And we also had a bullish triple thunder crossover on the POW algo alerts. That's when three things happen simultaneously. When you get above the 10-week moving average, the stochastic and the MACD cross bullish simultaneously. That's what we call a bullish triple thunder crossover in the PAL algo alerts, and you can see that we absolutely went parabolic. If you take a look at Tilray, it had a similar move, and that alert fired off on July, I think it was July 7th, and we closed that candle at around 58 cents, and then we went all the way up to about $1.30. So something similar is forming on Curaleaf, and you can see that really it's just been a straight rocket ship. So I love that indicator in the PAL algo alerts more than anything. It's by far the best indicator in my opinion, and it's just mega bullish. When all three of those things happen simultaneously, that it has to happen simultaneously or else it doesn't trigger. And if you just entered on that, you could have entered at say $1.60, and you would have seen almost, well, yeah, we just hit, was 424. I'm confusing a little bit with the US side of things, but if we zoom out here to the monthly time frame, look, this is how quickly things can change, folks. Look at the monthly time frame. If you go from the all-time high to the all-time low here on Curaleaf, and I remember looking at CURA here on the TSX, and I said, folks, we just hit a double bottom at $1, and that's why you got to be looking at the US side or the Canadian side, not just the US side, because the TSX is a huge exchange, and we had $1 as the low, and then we hit 99 cents. So it was a double bottom and playing off $1 psychological, and just off of that support double bottom, it ran over 330%. Now, if we bring up CURLF on the OTC, the US side, what I want to share with you is look at this move. From the all-time high to the all-time low, we're almost back to the 50% retracement, meaning you don't have to be a chart analysis guru to understand this. All it means is when you get to the 0.5, that just means you retrace 50% of that move. So from the all-time high to the all-time low, we've almost retraced 50% of that dump. And if we were to get back to the 0.618, so if we retraced about 62%, if we climbed back to about 62% of that dump, that'd bring us to 523. And if we were to claim the 786 or 78% of that move, that'd bring us up to around $9. Folks, this is what happens, right? When you've been in a bear market for 4+ years and you're down 80-90% plus on most names in the MJ sector, things happen quickly and everybody wants a pullback, right? Everybody thinks that it's just going to keep going down forever and ever and ever. It's never going to recover. And then when we recover, it explodes and everybody's waiting for the pullback that never comes. They get FOMO, they FOMO in, and then the pullback comes, they sell the bottom again, and then we continue higher. We're also gearing up for a monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, I would say over the next couple of months. So it's very bullish at the moment, folks. Like Curaleaf and like I said, a few other names have just on an absolute tear. Look at VFF. From its low just in April, it hit 45 cents, and this month already $2.95. So this is how quickly things can change, and we still haven't seen the monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross there either. So again, when you see big moves like this coming off the low, that's what you want to see. You want to see big volume, which we've been seeing. And with rescheduling imminent, the decision, I think we have all the clues that we need to understand what's the most likely scenario. When you have this much volume and you have this much price appreciation ahead of one of the, if not the biggest catalyst to date in the sector, one can start to think that, okay, it's probably going to be approved, right? They're probably going to move forward with rescheduling, and they may even attempt to deschedule eventually, but I do think they will take that incremental approach. And then I think there's a very high chance that we get safer banking and banking reform and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ for these MSOs. And what's good for MSOs is good for the entire industry. We need to get away from this, this tribalistic mindset. Oh, well, they don't operate in the U.S. Well, guess what? They're on U.S. major exchanges, the Canadian companies, and that's where the institutions play. That's where most, I know people in the U.S., in the PAL Group private community, who can't buy Curaleaf because their broker doesn't allow it. So you have to remember, until these companies uplist to U.S. major exchanges, and even when they do, that's going to be bullish for the whole space. That just goes to show you the stigma is dropping, right? And the times they are a-changing. And the gains, they are a-happening, because it's only just the beginning, folks. I'm super excited. You have no idea what's coming over the next few years, and I'm excited to be on the journey with you. All right, going in it there, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with PAL Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.